where most of the people actually do the mistakes, never give you the right reading. And how to check what should be the tire pressure in your car, which is a different button below in the chamber. That is why it is utmost important. Here it goes. Hello friends, welcome to Mashofreaks Auto. Currently you are watching Jimny Quick series where we talk about everything about Jimny. So it is needless to say, we all actually use the car on the daily basis. Maybe it's a Jimny, maybe some other car. And the way actually we take care about our health, so we have to take care about our vehicle as well. If you know more about your vehicle, suppose you are traveling alone or with the family, in that case, if you stuck somewhere, there are a lot many things you already know about the vehicle, and probably you can fix few things and you can tackle those things smartly. So let's start the video without wasting time. Because you know we all need to breathe. Likewise, the car also need to breathe. If that breathing is not there, then the engine is not going to work. If that breathing is so poor, in that case also the engine will not perform very well. That is again a dangerous situation for the engine as well. And for that breathing, there is an air intake. But whichever air intake it is, whether it is human or in case of car, both need some filters. In our nostrils, there are filters inside, which are built-in filters, right? So whenever you take a breath, we always have a filtered air. Likewise, the car also needs some filters, and there is a filter here, this box, and you can see this is air filter housing, and inside this housing we have air filter, and this is the air intake, this one. So this pipe is hollow from here, so this is a thick pipe, I think almost 2 inches I believe, and the air intake from here, and that air actually goes inside this box, and that particular box filter the air using this particular pipe, send the air inside the engine in the combustion chamber. So let's open the air filter housing to show you the state of the air filter. So these 4 latches I need to open, and this is very simple. And you just need to open it, lift it, and you can see the air filter here. So just remove the air filter. Right, I'll show you the state of the air filter later, but before that let me show you something. This is the area from where actually air comes in the box, and this is the pipe from air comes in, right? And this particular duct from where the air is channelized through this particular pipe to the engine, right? And this is the air filter between, which actually works. So this is the upper side of the air filter, and let's check out the lower side. This is quite dirty, and the reason is air comes inside the chamber from the lower side of the filter, and it actually goes out from the upper side to the engine. Let's understand how to clean it. See, when I removed the air filter from the air filter box, that was the position. And one way to identify, you see this hook here, and this particular portion is thicker. So there are 2 ways to identify which side was towards you. This was on the upper side, and you can see the state of the filter. And this was actually the lower side, which is a bit more dirty. So normally these air filters are replaceable, but as per the regular maintenance, there are 2 things you need to do. One, regularly check whether this air filter is very dirty. There is a one way you can clean it, but you can't clean it for always. 2-3 times you can do that. And the way to clean this air filter is the high pressure. So you can go to any mechanic where there is a high pressure available. You can put the high pressure in the filter, and some of the dust will go off. And after that, you can put the filter back, and nothing else you can do this in this case. But if you are going on the long trip and you want to ensure that filter should be in the right state, if that air filter is very, very dirty and you can't clean it, better to replace it. And that filter is not very expensive, maybe 300, 400 or 500 bucks. But this is the life for your engine. I know you all are not going to do that, but never ever drive the vehicle without this filter. Even if it is dirty, just put it. At least it will pass some clean air. So this is the time we should put this air filter back in the air filter box. So let's do that. I kept it in mind, right? And this notch is in front of me, and I put the air filter back, and I close the housing. And whenever you do that, there are a couple of hinges backside of this filter, and just ensure this upper case is placed inside those hinges first, and then you just put the cover back and just tight the cover. Also, nothing else. It's a very simple job, and probably it will take just 5 minutes of yours. So what I suggest is do it on a monthly basis. If you are not able to perform this fortnightly, whenever you go for a new trip, you should check it. That's it, nothing else. A very simple job. And my friends, next one is going to be very important, and this is the brake fluid. The entire braking system actually works on the brake fluid, whether your car is having disc brakes or the drum brakes. In any of the case, or all 4 tires are the disc brakes. So all the brakes works hydraulically in all the modern vehicles. So here we need not to deep dive in the hydraulics, but what we need to understand is we need to maintain a good brake oil level in the reservoir. So here you can see in every car you can find these kind of reservoirs, and in the most vehicle you can find it very easily, and you can see the oil level here. Here also you can see the minimum level and the maximum level. So whenever you apply the brakes, what happens? This black one, the black device behind, this black device is nothing but a brake booster, and which holds the vacuum. Whenever you apply the brake, it pushes the oil throughout the brake lines to all four tires and apply the brake. And this is how in a layman language brakes works. And what is the use of the reservoir? The use of the reservoir is whenever there is insufficient fluid inside those brake lines, the car will take the fluid from the brake reservoir and use that oil in the lines to apply the brakes. So that is why the level of the oil in this particular reservoir is very, very important. And you can see min is written here and the max is written there. Oil should not be below this min and oil should not be above this max mark. And there must be some empty space on the top. And in case you find the level of the brake oil is below minimum, in that case you can fill the brake oil your own. You need not to have any mechanic or any mystery from outside. This is a do it yourself thing, and you can do that. You just need to remove the cap, just pull out. In Jimny it is a .3 oil which is recommended by Suzuki. So use that .3 only. Don't mix any .4 or any other oil inside. So take one small bottle of 100 ml maybe, or maybe two bottles of 100 ml, and whatever amount it basically needs, you can top up that oil actually in this particular reservoir. If it is a minimum, just make it maximum. Nothing else you need to do. That's it. The only thing you just keep in mind is whenever you put the lid back, it should be tight enough. The reason is whether it is .3 or .4, whatever oil it is in any of the car, it is prone to absorb the moisture. If that lid is not tight, then it actually absorbs some moisture, and that moisture is not at all good for your brake fluid lines. And that is the reason sometimes you feel brakes are not very efficient, the brake pattern is spongy. Whenever you apply the brake, there is a delay. In that case, you need to bleed air from the brake lines. So keep that lid very tight. Suppose you don't want to do that, okay, don't worry. At least you can watch it, right? If you can watch it and you can see, okay, brake fluid is low, whenever you are going for the big trip or on the monthly basis, you can check it if you're not doing it on a fortnightly basis. So this is how you can maintain the brake fluid levels. So there are a couple of more things I want to tell you about the braking system. See, whenever you start in the car in the morning, what happens is, this is the brake booster. So whenever the engine starts, that actually starts creating the vacuum in the brake boosters. And that actually takes a little bit of time. So whenever you start in the morning, probably you'll find the braking is not very efficient. Maybe just for a few minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes, that's it. Once the engine gets a good RPM, after that you will feel now the brakes are very efficient. That is a very normal behavior of any natural aspirated engine and for any brake booster, because in this vehicle we don't have any dedicated or vacuum cylinder. The another point to note is there is a water wedding, and water actually goes inside the brakes, so your brakes becomes very inefficient. And just because of there is a lot of water inside, and there's a lesser friction between the brake shoe and the drum, and for the front brakes it's a rotor and the disc pads, so there is a lesser friction between them. Whenever you find that situation, take some time and apply the brakes slowly, and once you are out of the water, then apply brakes a few times, maybe 5-10 times, check it very well. After that you start using the brake normally, once you are sure now the brakes are there. So it is not always the brake booster, it is not always the brake fluid, it is sometimes there's a lesser friction in those mechanical parts. So that's very important. So let's move to the next one. So my friend, I want to tell you a few best practices before we really end this video, and those best practices are really useful, I'm telling you. So let me discuss those best practices one by one. So the first one, whenever you sit on the captain's seat, you will see few symbols and signs there in the ignition on state. Always understand those. If you will see any extra sign there and which is not good for your car, then it's a big problem, big issue. So always be vigilant about those signs. For example, if you see a light which is an ABS light and that is there, and that ABS light is not stopping even though your vehicle is moving, then it's a sign that something is wrong with the ABS. So likewise, there may be many more symbols. For example, in winters, whenever you ignite your vehicle, you will see a blue symbol in Jimny, but in many other cars, there is a temperature meter there. If there is a blue symbol, that means your engine is in cold state. So do not worry about that symbol, because once you start the engine, keep that engine rotating idle for 30 seconds or 1 minute. After that, probably that light will go. If it is not, just drive your vehicle for 1 kilometer, a couple of maximum, that symbol will go off automatically. But in case you have a meter installed there, which is a temperature meter, you can see the temperature up front there. So normal operating temperature is around 80 degrees Celsius, and this is quite standard for all the cars. One of the best practices, whenever you crank your vehicle first time in the morning, so at least for 5 kilometers, drive vehicle very slowly and gradually. Don't push it hard. Try to keep the RPM of the vehicle around 1200 or maximum 1500 just in case. Don't go beyond that, at least for 5 kilometers. If you can keep it to 1000 or 1200, that's a beautiful thing you are doing actually. Well, there is one more thing I just want to tell you, and this is again a best practice, and that is very much required in this video, is the plugs, actually the plug system. So the Jimny is having the 4-cylinder. So irrespective of Jimny, if your vehicle is having a 4-cylinder vehicle or the 3-cylinder vehicle, accordingly that vehicle is going to have 4 plugs or 3 plugs respectively. So in case of spark plugs, we just need to care about 2 things. One, the spark plug should be very clean. I'm not covering how you can open the spark plug and you can maintain it in this particular video, but I'll cover that actually in some different video. If you can open it, if you can remove the spark plug and you can see that, so there should not be oil on that spark plug, and that should not be very dirty. This is the one thing you just need to care about. And the second thing is, spark plug also have the coils on the top, and those coils actually give enough current to the spark plug to spark. So the health of those coils also should be good. So each of those plugs have the separate ignition coil. Sometimes you start the engine and you see the engine is missing. So one of the cause of the engine missing is either your spark plug or maybe the ignition coil. So whenever you go to any trip, any big trip, I would recommend get those spark plugs cleaned, and that is very much required. So let's move to the next one. There is one more important thing in the engine bay, that is the fan belt. I know you can't do much in case of a fan belt, but at least what you can do is you can visibly check if there is no extra strand which is coming out from the belt, and if there is any extra strand which is coming out from the belt, then it is the right time to change the fan belt, because once the fan belt is broken on the road, you know what, your vehicle is not going to move at all. Your battery is not going to charge. Your alternator actually works with that. Your AC compressor actually works with that. And there are many more components. The hydraulic steering system also works with that. So many things actually. So check it at least once a month. Once a month is sufficient. If you are checking something this month and stents are not coming out, probably next month you will see, oh, stents are out, and this is a time to actually change that fan belt. So this is how you can avoid many expenses, and this is how you can avoid many efforts, extra efforts, or any unscheduled maintenance work, right? Any unscheduled maintenance visit to the service centers. So hopefully you understand all those. So let's go. It's a time to conclude the video, and be with me. So I try to cover many things. I'm not saying this is the end of the list. Maybe there is many more things, but we can't cover everything in a single video. I tried my best to cover most important aspects, so it will be helpful for you. More you know about your vehicle, better you can tackle that actually in very different situations, especially when you are alone somewhere and you really want to handle it. And probably someday you come out from the difficult situation just because you know more about your vehicle. So better you have a knowledge about your vehicle. That means you can handle it, tackle it better. So hopefully, my friends, you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, like my video, share my video with your nears and dears, subscribe my channel, and currently you are watching Jimny Cookbook series, where we talk about everything about Jimny, and we are going to lay out many things about the Jimny going forward, and you will see so many such videos in the Jimny Cookbook series. So it's a time to go. I'll see you next time. Take care of you. Bye bye.